Hi, this is Brian and Eric's engineering homework. We are going to be looking at a very common device. It's in your phones, laptops, and televisions to some degree. This is my personal computer, which I will be using to show the parts that go into computing and how heat has to be managed in a computer setup like this.
The first and most important part of the computer is the power supply. This power supply is rated at 750 watts and it connects to all the pieces of the computer, from the graphics card to the motherboard to the hard drives. One of the most important things about the power supply is airflow and keeping it cool. Since the GPU outputs a lot of heat, if the fan were to be set up on top, as in with some rigs, it'll just take in the hot air and spew out just hot air again. In this rig, since it's lifted off the ground, it'll take out cold air and then spew out as hot air as it keeps itself cool and maintained.
Possibly as important as giving power to the computer is the motherboard, which is this large rectangular device in the back. It allows all the pieces to communicate with one another to give a visual on the monitor. You can see down here as an example of one of the slots that are on the motherboard. These are graphics card slots. There's 3 extras, 2 different kinds. Then there's also these RAM slots up in the top here. 2 of them are occupied, 2 of them are still empty in case you wanted more. This is the CPU housing. I mean, you can't really see the socket on there because it's being covered, but there's also these fancy looking metal bars which are used to help cool down the motherboard, and it's got these little slits on there to help give it more surface area to distribute the heat more efficiently.
This is the CPU, or otherwise known as the central processing unit. It fetches stored data and executes a lot of vital programs for the computer. And as you may notice, and could probably hear if this thing was on, this massive fan. And this is actually not the CPU, major misconception. Coming down to here, this is what the CPU actually is. This produces a lot of heat, which is why it needs this heatsink and rib design to disperse it. The fan also helps dry the heat out so it doesn't overheat. And if you're looking for a more advanced setup, there is the water-cooled setup that takes the water pumps that has the CPU here, and then it pumps the water out to the radiator to cool it down, and then pumps back in the cooled water to the CPU to cool it down and keep it functioning.
And finally, we're going to look at the last 2 pieces we're going to talk about here, which is the GPU, which is this guy right here, or the graphical processing unit, and the hard drives. The GPU is the part of the computer that renders all images and video that is seen on your monitors, and it gets shot out the back, which you can see down here on this GPU right here with these HDMI ports. The GPU also has the same design as a lot of the other parts that we've seen here, with these metal slits back here to help distribute the heat produced by the GPU. And finally, the hard drives. Nothing much special about hard drives. They just store all the programs and apps and essays and all the other information on your computer. And that's about it for this video. I hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.